Let's face it, you can become a designer without going to university these days. In fact, that's exactly what I did. I learned all of my design knowledge through watching YouTube tutorials just like this one. And when I was just starting out, I would have killed to have a video exactly like this one that just explains to me how to get from point A to point B, which is, I guess, becoming a full-time designer or becoming the best designer you can possibly be, right? So let's just get right into it. Number one, or step one, is learn the fundamentals. Now, you don't have to go to university, but you still need to learn the basics. You still need to have the building blocks that allow you to become a better designer and get to those crazy designs that you want to get to. In fact, having a solid base in design is pretty much 99% of the work. If you know all the basics with color theory, font pairing, font hierarchy, contrast, balance, things like that, then you pretty much have it all down. Then you can take those basics that you now learn and you can take it to the other extreme and try to do things that you see on Behance and Dribbble and Instagram, things like that. But you first need to learn the absolute basics or the fundamentals. The good thing is that you don't need a lot of money to invest in a good design education these days. There's a lot of really great content on YouTube like I learned, but if you want something more structured, then there's also a lot of really great courses out there. Okay, so let's get into it. There's the YouTube side of things and then there's courses. Let's just dive into both really quick. Number one, the YouTube side of things. If you really want to go down YouTube and you will learn through courses, then I can wholeheartedly recommend two really specific channels. Number one is the Future channel ran by Chris Do and his team over at Blind. This will teach you a lot of basics and a lot of business tactics that you can put into your freelance career or your graphic design career in general. Chris Do, who's the founder of the Future and the founder of Blind, is just a master at what he does. So anything you learn in that channel will pretty much serve you for life. Secondly is the Flux channel. I actually bought into one of their courses, more on that later, but on the Flux channel, you'll learn a ton of really useful UI UX information. They've also expanded their team in recent years and they're coming out with a lot of really great content. So I really recommend those two channels, the Future by Chris Do and Flux by Ran Segal. Okay, so if you want to go into the paid version and look into some courses and some really great courses, then I recommend two different things. For one, you can buy into a subscription like Skillshare, and also you can buy into a separate private course like I've also done. There's pros and cons to both, and we're gonna get into some of them right now. Before we get into them, if you like this kind of content, make sure that you like and subscribe so I know that you like this content, and also check out the description where I'll leave the links to everything I mention. Some of them will be affiliated, which means that they're not sponsored, but any purchase you make will help out the channel. So number one, we've got something like Skillshare, a subscription service where you have a ton of lessons and a ton of courses on just about any topic that you'd like. If you want to learn more about design wireframes, you can do that. If you want to learn more about typography, you can do that. If you want to learn more about logos, then you can do that. Every single topic you've ever thought of is on Skillshare. And it's pretty cheap. You can get a basic membership and you can just get started on every single topic that you've ever thought of, and you can get started that way. I know you've probably heard a lot about Skillshare, so I'll just leave it at that. But the second option is going into paid courses, which I've also done. When buying a paid course, I recommend Flux's course. And that's the course of the YouTube channel that I mentioned earlier. Now they're more tailored towards UI designers and freelancers, and they do come as more of an investment than just a silly purchase like Skillshare or something like that. But at the end of the day, it is cheaper than going to university. Their courses come in at a couple $100s each. So if you want to buy one course, it's a couple $100s, and then another course, it's a couple $100s. They've got 3 courses that are really good and I really recommend. I did a detailed review into my experience getting one of these courses in this video up here. So if you want to watch that, then go make sure you click that one. So in the end, getting a course like this has lots of perks like communities and lots of detailed answers and questions from their team, but it is quite expensive and it takes time from you. But again, it is cheaper than going to university or something like university, and also giving them 3 years of your life. Number 2 is invest in the right tools. Now, to be a designer or a graphic designer, UI designer, whatever it is, you need to invest in your tools, right? Just like if you're a carpenter or an architect, then you would invest in the right hammer, in the right nail, whatever it is, right? You'd invest in the right tools. If you're just starting out, consider some free tools like CorelDRAW and Vecteezy, things like that. But if you want to go into UI UX, then you're in luck because Figma is also free and it's the #1 app that UI designers use to collaborate with their team members and with their partners. Now, once you get the basics down, I recommend that you invest into something more professional like Illustrator or Photoshop. That's pretty much the giant in the design world, right? Adobe has this massive system where they have all these creative platforms that you can take advantage of and use in your everyday life. At this stage, if you're kind of going into the next section where you're becoming a bit more advanced, I recommend something like Hello Bonsai or Bonsai. Bonsai. They can help out with all the contracts, proposals, invoices, things like that. I made an entire playlist on all the best Hello Bonsai features, so if you'd like to check them out, then go make sure that you do that right there. Now, I know that learning new software at this stage can kind of be intimidating, but don't let it discourage you, because at the end of the day, these projects and these softwares are only going to get harder. So it's best to keep an open mind and just let yourself be encouraged by the communities that are out there and the YouTube videos and things like that. So number 3 is build a body of work. You can't be a professional designer without having a portfolio. If you need help on how to create a portfolio without having any clients whatsoever, then make sure that you watch this video here, because I go into a lot of detail right there. Number 4 is get your work seen. So what do you do after you have this portfolio and you need to kind of get it into the world and get some clients for the first time? Well, my advice is to make something like a Behance account or an Instagram account and try to show off your work using hashtags, using correct tags, using titles, things like that, to attract viewers and to attract followers and subscribers, whatever it is. There's no real formula on how to get a lot of exposure on Instagram and Behance. The only advice I can give you is just to be consistent and to try to post every day or every 2 days, something like that, just so that your followers and the hashtags keep rolling and they keep adding up and it's consistently growing. Number 5 is network with other designers. This is something that I've struggled with in the past, but meeting with other designers and talking to other designers about similar problems you're facing or trying to get some work off of other designers is a great way to get yourself into the community. Building your network of designers isn't just about kind of getting more work, but it's also about developing your skills in communicating with them, knowing how to talk to clients, knowing how to talk to other designers as it is. It's just a great tool that you need to start doing. Number 6 is go get some real world experience. Now, this is the most intimidating one and obviously the hardest one, and it's probably why you're here in the first place. But make sure that you go on Upwork or something like Fiverr and you start testing the waters and see what your design skills look like compared to everyone else. So surely if you start getting some clients on Fiverr and Upwork and you start getting some traction, then you should probably raise your prices, right? And if you don't know how to do that yet, then go watch this video right here, because I explain in complete detail how you can do just that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.